everyone, it's Sharonda from Pay Your Waste, and today I'm going to be reviewing Scenes from a Marriage, episode 2. There is a lot that happened in this week's episode, but just to let you guys know, this is going to be a recap of the episode. I will be giving away spoilers, so if you have not watched this series yet, do yourself a favor, go and watch episode 1 and episode 2, and you will be caught up, and then you only got 3 episodes left because it's only a 5-episode series. So I think you guys know from last week, for anyone who watched, that, you know, Mira and Jonathan, they weren't clicking for me. I was just like, your wife is clearly unhappy and you're just oblivious or delusional. I don't know what. That was funny because he called Mira delusional this episode, and I was like, but baby, that's been you, because you can't tell that your wife not happy. What she keep checking her phone for? What is she like? I'm just really confused how you don't feel like y'all in trouble. All right, so we see the Mira's on a work trip. We saw that their daughter woke up and she wanted to talk to her mother, but he promised her, like, hey, she's coming back tomorrow and then you'll be able to speak with her. In the meantime, my man thought he was gonna rub a quick one off. He went upstairs to his office, went on a porn site, got busy. I was like, baby, do what you gotta do. If that's what you gotta do to make sure that you happy before your wife come home, do that. But I was just kind of confused, like, who sits and eats in the dark by themselves? Like, I like it dark, but he was just like sitting in complete darkness, just eating some noodles. I was really confused by that. But he hears someone at the door. It's his wife. She came home early, and so essentially they're having a conversation. He lied to his wife because he was like, oh, he was like, I just told her that you were coming, you're gonna pick her up tomorrow. She's like, has she been sleeping all right? He was like, yeah, she's been sleeping fine. I was like, but she just woke up asking for a mother. So obviously she hadn't been sleeping okay, but I was just like, maybe I missed something. I don't know. But he tells her that Peter's been blowing him off, and quickly we find out why Peter has probably been blowing Jonathan off this entire time. But we see that he asked her, like, hey, are you still upset? Because they got into an argument basically about redecorating the attic the night before while she was still out of town. But she was just like, no, everything's fine. They're just so awkward to watch. Like, you can tell, like, she's like, just go ahead, blame me. Like, she just fed up, child. And I was just like, this is not a happy marriage whatsoever. And so he just going back to his noodles, just eating and stuff, like nothing's happening. I was just like, Jonathan, you have to stop. You got to come back to reality, baby. And so essentially he asked her, like, hey, what's going on with you? And she was like, hey, so I'm in love with somebody else. I said, what? What? You're in love with somebody else? Baby, she said it so casually, so nonchalantly. Like, hey, forgot to tell you I'm in love with someone else. How's your day going? Like, what? And so he just got this blank stare on his face. My jaw is just to the floor because I was just like, who? I mean, I saw it coming, but I don't think Jonathan saw it coming. And so essentially she said that that's why she came. She said she came home early to tell him, like, I came here to tell you that I am having an affair. And essentially, she fell in love with this guy from this startup company that they bought, and he's from Tel Aviv. And, you know, she was just like, our company buying him, and I'm in love with him. I'm in love. Cause I'm in love. Let me stop before y'all know y'all get mad when I start trying to sing. I was trying to sing in love with another man, Jasmine Sullivan, but that's a whole story for a different day, or a song for a different day. And so essentially she says that she was like, I thought that you would have found out, but you know, you didn't say anything. And he was like, hold on, time out. That's not what he really said, but I was like, time out. What you mean you thought he was gonna find out? Like, what? And then she was like, well, you didn't notice that I was different? I was like, well, baby, I noticed. And he was like, no. And she was like, well, don't that tell you something? And I was like, boom. Okay, because she didn't tell not one lie. How did you not know she was acting different? Because, baby, I could have told you from episode 1 something wasn't right, hunty. Something wasn't right. And you was talking about how y'all wouldn't have the sex like that either? You think you'll be laying next to me and you not giving me nothing in the boom boom room? Huh. So we see that essentially he starts asking her questions, okay? And so he was like, when did it end? And she's like, the affair is still happening, okay? And so he was like, are you gonna stop? And she was like, I don't know. And then she was like, no, I'm not. I was like, wait a minute. I shouldn't be laughing at this, but baby girl said, I'm not stopping. And I was like, so what are we doing here? Like, are you telling him because like you just had to tell him? Or are you telling him like, I want a divorce? Because I'm still kind of confused what's happening myself. And so Jonathan started asking the questions that we need to know. And so basically he was like, why are you telling me now? And she was like, oh, well, I came back to tell you because I'm going to Tel Aviv with him for 3 months. I said, what? What? Not only you come to tell this man that you cheating on him, okay? But then you say you gonna go to Tel Aviv for 3 months with your new man? Bruh. I said, sis, what are we doing right now? And so he looking shook, I'm looking shook, and I said, wait a minute, what about Ava? And so, essentially, I was like, I'm just confused the whole time. Like, I wasn't just sitting there confused because of like her telling her husband this, but I was like, baby, you got a child. Like, how you just gonna go to a whole nother country for 3 months like you ain't got a daughter? So we see that, you know, essentially he says like, hey, just go upstairs. I'll take care of all this down here. I said, baby, why are you being so calm? You sent her upstairs. I would have been throwing stuff. I would have been like, Ava, baby girl, wake up, because your trash mama got to tell you how she cheating on us. I would have been petty. This is probably why I'm not married. This is probably why I'm single. But I would have been real petty. He cleaning up downstairs, telling her she can go upstairs and get set. Bitch, get settled for unsettle your ass up out my house. You sitting up here telling me not only you got somebody, but you leaving to go be with them and you leaving me and your child? No, I would not be this calm. So essentially... So she had this whole, first of all, she said this, like, she made it seem like I had to come tell you now or I wouldn't leave. But baby, you didn't negotiated a whole work contract. She negotiated an entire work contract. She had in her contract that she could come home every other weekend from Friday to Sunday to be with Ava. So I'm like, for something that you saying that just randomly came over your mind, you had this plan out because you had to come up with a whole plan with your job about what to do. So she's supposed to come home every other weekend and she's gonna get her own place or hotel so Ava can come spend time with her. My man's just sitting here in a blank stare the entire time. And so he's trying to figure out what happened. And then she basically said after the abortion, but I was like, you wanted the abortion. He told you that he didn't want the abortion. And so she said they never talked about it, which I totally understand because y'all wasn't even on the same page in the first episode when the lady was asking you questions about how you view marriage, how you view love, how you, like, y'all were never on the same page about stuff. It's a clear disconnect, a clear level of miscommunication. It's not even miscommunication. Y'all don't communicate at all. So I could totally understand her because he's so passive aggressive and he was clearly against the abortion. And when she told him, like, basically the reason she had the abortion is because she felt that A, if they had another kid, it would totally ruin their marriage. B, if she had the kid, she would never be able to leave. She would be trapped. And I was like, damn, that had to hurt. But to have that level of truth, that's how you know she, like, when you have that level of truth and self-realization with your significant other, like, you're fed up at that point. So essentially I was confused because I'm just like, but you still do have a daughter. And like, I understand you wanting to be happy, but you don't need to leave your child to be happy. But I mean, I guess she said she'd come every other weekend, and she was right. Men do this all the time. So I mean, I was like, please, feminist hat aside, MIRA's still trash for all of this. They both are terrible, okay? Because they're both just terrible. But you gonna leave your child for a whole 3 months to go be over a boy, to be with some boy? A boy, cause he said, how old is he? She said 29. I said, bitch, you leaving your husband and your child for a 29-year-old? And let me tell y'all about this before y'all attack me like, Sharana, whose side are you on? This is the problem that I have with this. He is 29 years old. Is he sick? I wouldn't even date a 29-year-old, okay? Let me tell you, I would not date a 29-year-old. And I'm assuming they're in their either super late 30s or it seems like they're in their early 40s, and you leave it to go be with a 29-year-old? I wouldn't even date a 29-year-old, and I am single, okay? and you leaving your kid to go be with this little boy, a little boy. And yes, I'm gonna say a little boy. Y'all could be like, he a little boy, okay? Probably haven't even been in no serious relationship. And so I was confused because her verbiage the entire time is like, she was like, I'm happy when I'm with him, but she's made it seem like I'm happy now. Like, haven't you noticed I've been happy? Like, people at work have said I've been happy. Ava can tell it I'm happy. Like, we have a better relationship. But I was just like, no man should be making you, like, it was almost like he defined her happiness. Like, me being with someone, that can be I'm happy, but it felt like just because she's with him, that's the only reason why she's happy. And that just didn't sit right. I just felt like there's something else inside of you, because you got to be happy by yourself before you can be happy with somebody else. So him showing up and being a good time is not going to just make you feel like you live in this happy picture, like this happy life all of a sudden. So I just took like a little issue with that. But baby, he started asking to look at a picture. She showed him a picture. Like, it was just a lot. And so essentially they met at a party when they were closing this deal. She was talking about we was drinking, everybody's doing coke. I was like, oh, cool. You, at your job, y'all just be doing coke? I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know what job I'm in, we ain't doing coke. But they met at a party, she was dancing. He was like, you don't dance. And she was like, well, the coke and the drinking. And so he came up to her and he said basically what attracted him to her was like she didn't care about what other people were thinking. And I was like, well, that's technically not true. She was under the influence, but it is what it is. But then she talked about they smashed that night. Like, she invited him back to the room. They smashed that night. But what killed me when he was like, wait a minute, that's when you started sleeping with me too. I was like, girl, throw the whole thing away. But I'm like, babe, go ahead and get yours. You're going to get some 29-year-old pen. You're going to get your husband pen. I mean, I'm not condoning cheating, y'all, but I'm just saying, I mean, do what you got to do, boo. Like, if you need two people to satisfy you, do what you got to do. Okay, that's besides the point. But, so, this is the other part that, like, got me, okay? So, Jonathan sitting up here begging her that whole episode to please stay. Like, we can get through this. I can forgive you. I was like, bruh, and you ain't getting through it. I can't even get past it. And I just got introduced into y'all relationship. She was right. You ain't gonna be able to forgive her. So what sent me was when she said she was talking to Kate, and Kate hating ass was in her ear. I said, Kate, how you giving somebody else relationship advice and you and your husband Peter can't even get along with each other? You had to start sleeping with other people because you got tired of him cheating on you, that y'all had to compromise because he wasn't a strong enough man to keep his peen in one hole, okay? So I was just confused how you're taking relationship advice from Kate. I just didn't understand that, but hey, it is what it is. So we see that she basically like, can we just talk about this in the morning, child? But also did send me, and if I forgot to talk about this, is when she was like, hey, did you pick up the dry cleaning? I said, B, you just told this man you're cheating on him, and you asked him, did he pick up the dry cleaning? So what, pick up the dry cleaning for clothes so you can leave him the next morning? Beesh, are you serious right now? He talking about, oh, you got a mark on your back. No, baby, say she got a hickey because she been getting that back broke in, okay? But, sorry, I'm really trying to be sensitive to what Jonathan and MIRA are going through. But it was just a lot of juiciness with these secrets and revelations. So they end up going to sleep. I thought he was about to try to have sex with her. I was like, Jonathan, what are you doing? Why are you consoling her? Jonathan's like a good dude, but a delusional man at the same time. Because I'm like, why are you consoling? She said she want to leave. Like, something just ain't worth fighting for. Like, if it's gotten to this point, like, you trying to beg her to I mean, I guess that's your wife. Let me just stop. That's your wife. You've been with her for 12 years. I'm not going to hold it against you, but I was side-eyeing Jonathan the entire episode. Like, sir, have some self-respect for yourself, okay? So, the next morning, she ended up cuddling with him. I'm like, ho, what you cuddling? She ain't no hoe. I'm sorry. No, we're not going to do that. So, she ended up cuddling with him. I'm like, girl, but you didn't want to be with him. Like, what are you doing? I guess I know Sharonda, they've been together for 12 years, falling into old habits. We see they fall asleep and they wake up and he's staring at her. Like, it's almost like they forgot what was happening and then reality sunk back in. Like, she smiles at him. She touches his face. They've been together for a long time. They're in a routine. Like, you're just used to somebody, right? And so, essentially, baby girl, I guess she was just like, I mean, she said she was really struggling. Like, she felt like she wasn't going to be able to leave. And so she takes a shower. She started, baby, she said she was packing. She was taking the clothes with the hangers and just throwing it in the suitcase. I said, baby girl, that's not how you pack. I know you trying to leave. You said you just going for 3 months. You packing like you leaving forever. Like, just say what it is. And so essentially my man started packing for her. My man was packing a bag so she could leave. The level of love that you still want to make sure that her bag to leave your ass is organized as you are packing your stuff. My mind was blown this entire episode. Like, you, my friend, that's what the Lord aspires someone to be like. Because when I tell you, I would have had Ava go to her grandma's house, the whole house would have been on fire. All her stuff would have been on fire. Like, everything wouldn't have went down so peacefully how he did it. And so she was like, well, let me go. She's like, I can't wake up Ava. I can't do it. He's sitting up here making her coffee. I would have spit in her coffee and handed it to her, okay? I would be like, you want some coffee? And I'd be like, I would have spit in it and handed it to her like, beesh, here your coffee, tramp. I'm sorry. That's terrible. But I'm just saying, I just want y'all to know that when I'm calling her these names, it is not to demean her as a woman, okay? Because dudes do the same stuff. But I'm just saying, if I was the person who got cheated on, man, woman, I don't care. I'm calling you a hoe, a tramp. I'm calling you every name in the book because I can't believe you just said this stuff so nonchalantly and you just talking to me like I was supposed to be okay with you leaving me. So I'm just like, y'all know that before y'all get into the comments and try to be like, how dare you slut shame a woman? I am not slut shaming a woman. I am talking about if somebody cheated on me after 12 years, it would have been worse things that I would have called them, okay? So I just want y'all to know that, okay? That's not who I am, but if somebody cheated on me, that's who they finna be, okay? So he ends up almost having an asthma attack. And can I just say though, Jessica Chastain was like, they were acting this episode because when she grabs an inhaler because she's worried about him, she wants him to be okay, and then she has to stop herself, like she has to slam the inhaler down and walk away because this is the whole thing. She was just like, it's going to make her not leave. She did so good. Like that moment when Oscar Isaac, like when he just like screamed, like he gets so frustrated, the performances, so good. So good. I know I'm just giving my crazy commentary and I will do a review of the entire season, but Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac, they're giving some fantastic performances, but these conversations that they had throughout this episode, just how you can see that she keeps saying, I feel ashamed that I did this, but like she has to choose herself. She has to put herself first. Like if she doesn't, she's going to be unhappy forever. And just watching the back and forth of like, you know, he was like, let's just talk about this. Let's try to fix this. And she just like, no, I'm done. Like, I don't think you get it. I'm done. And then she was like, well, I'm not attracted to you anymore either. Like, so how do you fix that? And I was just like, damn, now we're going below the belt now. She tries to leave. He grabs her. He tries to hold on to her. And then she just walks away. Then he did what I needed him to have been done. When he called Kate, he called Peter. It's like, Peter, put Kate on the phone. And then he talking to Kate, and then Kate trying to make it seem like she tried to tell her to like think about things. And he was like, so why couldn't you have told her to stay? Like you sitting up here giving her all this other advice, but you couldn't tell her to talk about stuff first before she decided to leave me. And then he cursed Peter ass out because Peter should have been the first one. See, Kate is Mira's friend. He should have been cursing Peter out because I know his ass knew. That's why he was blowing him off. And he was like, so is that why you ain't been returning phone calls? Like he was like, well, that was on Kate. No, you my friend. Like what? I would have fought Peter. And then the whole time, like literally when I have this, I'm like, how is he doing all this yelling and cursing and they doing all this arguing and Ava ain't woke up yet? And then Ava came downstairs and then he just stared at her and then the episode goes off and I was just like, woo, that's a lot, y'all. That is a lot. That just the framing of these conversations, how honest she was. And I feel Jonathan, because it was like, why couldn't you have had this level of honesty when you were feeling this way after the abortion that you wanted to have? That's her choice. That's her right. But Jonathan, on the same hand, like, she had a point to, like, you didn't notice that your wife was different? Like, I looked at one episode and it was clear as day to me. So it's just, y'all, this is why communication is so important. It's so important. Communication is just something that I feel like as a society that we have lost the ability of communicating. I see it at work every day. I see it. Leaders can't have crucial conversations with their employees because they're so scared to be open and honest and tell people like, hey, you a trash ass employee, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. Like how people can't tell their friends like, hey, I really don't like how you did this. I used to struggle with this, okay? And sometimes I still do, but I try to make sure that I know people might think I overly communicate because I just feel as though you never want to leave anything unsaid with somebody that you care about, but also too, when you care about somebody, you want your relationship to be better. So you tell people the things that bother you, that make you upset, that, you know, I want to be with you, but if you keep doing this, I'm going to have to leave. And when someone tells you that they're leaving, it should never come as like an out of the blue surprise. And I understand she had to do what she had to do to put her first in order for her to leave to be happy, but I feel like it's something deeper going on with her. But yeah, I just want, if this episode didn't teach anybody anything else, it's just you have to know how to communicate and how you can't be married to somebody that you cannot be open and honest with. That is not a strong marriage. That's not a secure marriage. And then you just have resentment because where she's at, she resents him. Okay. She's disgusted by him. Like you heard it when he was like, when they got into it, I'm not being passive aggressive. You can't, like, I know you can pick and choose your battles, but it's clear that you guys have a lot of issues that you never talked about, that you guys just tried to brush aside conflict. And now you had an affair because you had an affair because you can't tell your husband that you're unhappy. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. It felt like a very honest and real episode, just a conversation that they were having. Even it was almost like when she said, I had to come home now and tell you, because I literally would not have had the nerve to do it any other time. But if you guys are not watching Scenes from a Marriage and you watch this whole recap, I don't know why you did that, because you need to go watch it. But you need to be watching the series. Some phenomenal acting from Jessica Chastain, Oscar Isaac. I really like this show. I need him to still fight Peter, and I know Kate hating ass better not have nothing else to say to Jonathan, okay? All right. But yeah, that's my recap of Scenes from a Marriage episode 2. As always, my name is Sharonda from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000, and until I see you again, bye.